It's hiring under pressure. Someone quits or your workloads explode and suddenly you're scrambling to post a job ad and praying that you find someone decent fast.
And action.
Welcome back to the Business Growth Mindset podcast, where we help business owners and founders scale their businesses with clarity, strategy, and confidence. Today's episode is for those of you feeling the pressure of growth but struggling to find the right people to carry the load. We're talking about how to build a talent pipeline that fuels sustainable growth, not just plug gaps as they come up. This one's for business owners who know that hiring isn't just about filling seats, it's about building a high-performance team that takes your vision further, faster. Kristian, let's dive in.
All right, let's dive in. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's good off the back of last week we did the marketing pipeline. So talent, I think this ties in quite well.
Yeah, or this could just get really crazy because you know how I feel about talent.
But I think it's something a lot of people need help with at the moment. Since COVID, obviously unemployment's been minimal and it's really hard to find good people. Productivity in this country has dropped, and I know we struggle with this, and I think most of our clients at some point when they're hitting that phase, they are struggling as well. So I think it's going to be a really, really good one for a lot of listeners.
It might not be G-rated.
Behave. All right, let's get into it. What is the difference between reactive hiring and building a talent pipeline?
You just laughed at me when I said G-rating. Like now you know this is just going to get me fired up, right? It's actually a fundamental mind shift. Okay, reactive hiring is what most business owners default to, right? And what it is it's hiring under pressure. Someone quits or your workloads explode and suddenly you're scrambling to post a job ad and praying that you find someone decent fast, right? It's stressful, it's rushed, and often it leads to poor fits, okay? A talent pipeline, on the other hand, is strategic. I strongly believe that recruitment is a marketing function. Recruitment, ladies and gentlemen, is a marketing function. You will not hear many consultants around the world tell you that. The ones that do are generally the best ones, right? So a talent pipeline is very strategic. It's about anticipating the future roles based on your growth plan. There's another issue. Most people don't have a growth plan, and proactively identifying as well as engaging with the talent before you need them, right? So you're not waiting for the vacancy to think about who the right person might be. You're always recruiting. You're always building relationships. You're always thinking ahead. So let me give you a real world example. One of our clients, right, in growth school is an allied health space, was constantly overwhelmed every time a team member resigned. And this is before they started with us. So together, in a very short period of time, we built a 6-month hiring map aligned with their growth trajectory and implemented quarterly talent attraction campaigns. So even when they weren't hiring, they were hiring. So within a year, they had a bench of pre-qualified candidates ready to step in, and their hiring stress disappeared. And this is all about building capacity ahead of demand and not in response to it. And that's one of the cool things that I have been able to do year and year, grow and grow, and now we teach it. And I love it. I love teaching this. Oh my God, that was so loud. Let me put this on D&D.
I think your calendar's telling you you're supposed to be somewhere else.
That's my calendar saying we're almost up for time. Everybody that knows that my calendar like rules my world. So we've got to be fast, Bond. But yeah, look, I think that's what it really is that you've got to be proactive, but you can't be proactive unless you've got a cool strategy, a core strategy, not a cool strategy, a core strategy.
And I think that an easy way that obviously in marketing makes it easy for my brain to work it out. But for me, thinking about this, as soon as you explained this to me and it was, you need to build up the pipeline so you've got people ready. It's just like when you run your social media posts or if you run some ads and you build up an email list or something. And then when you've got something to sell, you've got a list of people to sell it to. You're not running out into the streets handing out flyers going, please buy my stuff. So I think that's a good way to think about it. Is
Or
you've got
better
to build a list
still,
of people to sell to. Instead, build a list of people to recruit.
yep. And your example was great, but imagine this. You're not sitting outside begging with a little tin cup waiting for change.
Yeah.
And that's what the current recruitment is like, ladies and gentlemen. It is like a homeless and a homeless person sitting there, hopeless, right? Struggling with their own mindset, and we don't know what else is happening in their lives. But I'm giving you the reference point. That's how a lot of business owners feels. If that's you,
Yeah.
there is hope. There is actually hope. You can get help, right? But if you're already at broken stage, then what you should actually consider is shutting and going and getting a job and putting money and food back on your table. How many people
Yeah.
that get through some of all the levers that we have and somehow get through to me, and then they tell me their story, and I'll give them 15 minutes of my time. How many times, Bond, do I say to them, listen, none of this is for you? And I've got haters out there who hate on me because I told them to get rid of their business and sell it when they could, didn't sell it, went broke, and then they think you didn't help me. No, I
That would
helped you.
be unethical.
I told you to get out
Yeah.
when before I wasn't going to work with you because I could see that you were heading for disaster. I've been there, right? And I want to help you and prevent you. But so many people are just fucking deaf. They don't want to hear it because they don't want to be called out to be a failure. It's okay to fail, ladies and gentlemen. Right?
Yeah.
Failure is not some fucking badge of honor, right? You fail, you learn, but is it better to fail less than to fail all? Right?
Yeah.
Like, you play
Dust
an
yourself
entire
up and
football.
come back
Yeah,
with some cash in the bank. Like that's the advice. It's not,
yeah,
it would be wildly unethical to tell someone to continue when you can see that it's not going to work. Maybe your next attempt will work amazingly, but in its current status, it's not going to happen. So you need to get rid of it. Go sort yourself out, get your house in order, and come back again.
yeah. I mean, Bond, you're familiar with my investment philosophy. I invest in founders who have gone broke at least
Yeah.
once, and generally their second or third iteration is at least a multi-million-dollar exit. And I'm talking like multi-million-dollar, as in some of them are 1 or 2 million, some can be 15 to 20. And one of the things that I take a lot of pride in is that I've done that over and over again, and I've not taken more equity than that founder.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's and that's an integrity question. Making sure that the person that founded the business is the one that ends up with the most cash. That is not what Silicon Valley is about, and it's not what most VCs are about. But that's one thing that I always have had the integrity around is like, hey, I'll jump in and help you, I'll fund it, but this is how we're going to play together. And we're going to follow a process, and we're going to do it, and we're going to win. And if anyone's planning on randomly messaging me and saying I've got this great idea, ideas are like assholes, right? Everybody's got one. And so you've got to be able to. What's the problem you're solving? Is it a big enough problem? And again, I don't mean that to disparage people. I'm just saying that not every idea comes to life, and I've certainly been one of those douchebags that thought every idea that came out of his mouth was fantastic, and it cost me a lot of money in the process. And I do a lot less of that today. I prefer to actually, use other talented people and give them the opportunity to let their dream come to life because they are better executioners than I am. That's the reality. So, yeah. So,
Now I can see that your calendar is about to yell at us again. So I'm going to keep on moving with question number 2. Otherwise,
yes, please.
we're going to be in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. How do you define the right hire for your next stage of growth?
Oh, look, this is where most business owners get stuck, right? So if this is you, please listen up. They hire for the role they think they need now instead of the business they want to become, right? Like most people would say to me, what? I thought you were going to say they hire for the person of the future. No. What is the business you want to become? Right? Because you need to hire people that are smarter than you, man. It's pretty simple. If you hire people that are dumber than you, then you're not going to grow, because then everything's on you. You are the key person risk. So look at the business you want to become and then put the right person in it. So you define the right hire. Well, in order to define the right hire, you need to look at three things. And one of them is capability, culture fit, and strategic impact. So what skills and experience are needed, not just today, but in 6 to 12 months? And can this person grow into the role? Okay. The culture fit, well, are they aligned with your values, with your mission and your purpose and the way the entire team works, right? And what skills can be, because remember this, every skill can be taught, mindset, not so much. Okay. So, and then finally, the strategic impact. Will this person free you up? Will they help you eliminate bottlenecks or increase any leverage? So here's a bit of a pro tip that I give all of our clients, and I may as well give it to everyone on the podcast. Write a scorecard, not a job description. Okay. A scorecard defines the outcomes of the role and a scorecard will define the behaviors needed to succeed. It gives the person clarity and your candidate clarity on what success looks like, right? So I just did this with one of our big one-on-one clients. I've started with them 3-4 months ago. I'm chair of their board as well. And we've gone through all of their job descriptions that were excellent anyway and said, no one's reading them. They're like 12 pages long, right? Let's turn them into one-page scorecards. And it's been a game changer. All the staff went from, I'm not sure what I'm meant to do, to, oh my God, I am so clear about what my next steps are. So remember that every new hire should move the business closer to its strategic goals, not just keep the wheels turning. But if you're an established business and you've got shitty job descriptions and your staff are always whinging to you that they don't know what they're doing next, review the job description, get rid of it, and build a scorecard.
I love that. Setting really clear expectations for everyone on the way in also would set the tone that it's going to be, if you follow these things, you will be successful, which makes everyone perform so much better when they have that certainty. All right, lucky last question.
All right.
What are the biggest hiring mistakes growing businesses make, and how can all of our listeners avoid them?
I was hoping this would be a 1-minute response because my diary's about to go off. Look, I've seen hundreds of hiring mistakes. I've made plenty of them myself, but 3 really stand out. Hiring in a panic. So that's you bringing someone in just to drop the bleeding, and it ends up costing you way more in lost productivity, in team culture, and in turnover. The second thing that that comes to mind is confusing roles with responsibilities. Okay. So just because someone had a certain title elsewhere doesn't actually mean that they'll thrive in your structure. Always match roles to clear outcomes, not industry titles. Okay. And then probably one of the big ones is not investing in onboarding. Okay. So like, we're currently reviewing how we onboard our clients, because it's not, how you onboard a client is how you should onboard a team member, right? It should be at that level of depth. So you need to find the right person, and then you can't just dump them in the deep end with no context or support. So that's just a fast track to disengagement. So to avoid these, slow the process down. Build a hiring process that includes a pre-hire project or a trial task. We do this in the outsourcing company all the time. You do it in the media business every time we've got to add someone to the team. Behavioral interview questions that test values alignment, okay? And also clear onboarding systems that set new hires up for success in the first 90 days. So hiring isn't just about finding the right people, Bonnie. It's about creating an environment where they can do their best work and stay for the long haul, right? Recruitment is expensive, but if you find the right people and you nurture them, they will pay you back in spades, right? Like, I'll use Simone as an example. Simone is actually leaving after 3 years. And that's going to be announced to this episode's not going out till next week. So yeah, it's going to be announced before then. And it's been 3 years. She helped build the group program. She came from being part of Kerwin Ray and K2 and said to me, hey, that didn't work for me. I dropped 60 grand a year. You seem to have all this stuff, but why don't we? And she was coaching in the program too. And she said, your frameworks are world class. Why don't you teach them on scale? And for that reason, we owe a fair bit to Simone in that extent, because
she has
I
made a
was
huge
I was
mark.
so against group coaching because I'm an advisor, not a coach, and it blew my mind what we've been able to build in 2 years. And all you have to do is watch the 10-minute trailer video on YouTube at the moment. You can't miss it. It's the first one, and you'll see what behind the scenes really looks like. And what's really special about Growth School is we've onboarded the right people.
Yes.
Right. And I'm sorry, if you're not one of those right people, you'll never get in, because we don't, I mean, and I know this sounds horrible, but I don't need people's money. So it's never been designed for me to get rich. Does that make sense? And so we're able to really be clear and succinct on the values that we want to uphold and the people that we want in the program. And Simone helped us build that. And, when I was talking to her last night, and, she's going to announce it to all the Growth School members before I announce it to them. And again, this is not a live podcast, so it's coming out next week. So that'll already be done. And it's going to be a beautiful moment. We debriefed on it last night, and I said, I want you to say goodbye. And she said, you never cease to surprise me, right? You're so tough all the time on everyone. And then I said, yeah, but you've been great. You've been great to the business. And one day you might come back. And she looked at me and she's like, maybe. And I said, she goes, I just don't think that's for me. I've got other priorities. And it was just fun just to talk about it like that. But, I think the way you onboard is also the way you exit. That's the point I'm trying to make. You want to if you bring on really good people, they will serve you. They will stay with you. I mean, you're a really good example of that, Bond. 10 years with the business, and you are part of that business. From top to bottom, and your contribution is evident in the fact that we've been able to scale as aggressively as we have across so many multidisciplinary areas too. So anyway, that's it. I've got to bounce in a second. So I've
Beautiful.
got
Well,
1 minute.
let's go fast then. That wraps up another episode of the Business Growth Mindset podcast. If you are serious about building a team that drives your business forward, not holds them back, it's now time to get intentional about your hiring strategy. Again, don't look at me with this face, but I'm about to give away our hiring readiness checklist that we built for our clients to help everyone assess where the gaps are and start building their own talent pipeline and stop being so reactive with your hiring. We'll leave it in our resources section of our website. So I'll leave a link to that on the show notes, and you'll be able to see all of our resources in there as well, which will be helpful if you're looking for anything else. Until next time, keep leading with purpose, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.